Universe 7 has won the Tournament of Power, but our story isn't over yet, especially because Tien, Goku, and Vegeta are trying to reach a new level of power. I guess it's kind of redundant to say that because they always are, but this time it's different. We'll cover all that and more in this finale of What If Tien Was the Strongest. Naturally, after seeing all the other universes in the Tournament of Power, Tien does want to test his power out against others. Not that his current training isn't going well, because it is, but he kinda needs to broaden his horizons. Thankfully, he did just meet someone new after all, Maris, who's taken an interest in Tien, especially after seeing all of them use Ultra Instinct. Tien learns that he's actually an angel, and he does some training under him, while Goku and Vegeta go back to Beerus's planet. Goku, of course, is still going to work on Ultra Instinct, but he's going to do it with Whis. As for Vegeta, he's going to try to do something a little bit different here. Maybe he can't get ahead of Tien by doing the same thing as him, but if he does something different, who knows? Following the Mora arc, there isn't going to be any stuff with Granola. So, naturally that leaves one arc left. Superhero. Dr. Hedo is freed from prison, and Gamma 1 and 2 are made. They have the same objective as normal, but this time there's more targets. There are a lot of weird people on Earth that need to be stopped, particularly Goku and all his alien friends, especially Tien. Clearly they're all aliens, like one of them has 3 eyes, one of them has no nose, and one of them is Chaozu, who actually is in the body of an alien. So everyone here's a target. Gamma 1 and 2 are sent out, and the first people they come across are actually Krillin and Chaozu. Gamma 1 fights Krillin. Meanwhile, not too far away, Chaozu's fighting Gamma 2. And the Gammas are made to be pretty strong, but Yamcha's nearby to Krillin, so he joins him in that battle. And as for Chaozu, Kami ends up joining him. Each fight becomes a 2v1, and despite the strength of the Gammas, they can't actually keep up here. Especially in the fight against Chaozu, because that one's kind of lopsided. First of all, Chaozu has all his time abilities, which are really helpful. Not to mention, Kami's there. Having his potential unlocked, he's grown a lot stronger. Shenron didn't just give him a potential unlocked form, he gave him an extra form beyond that. So, once Kami turns orange, he's able to one-shot his opponent. They then realize that there's another Gamma out there, so they take their opponent, and Kami teleports all of them over to where Yamcha and Krillin are. Now, both the Gammas are defeated. They're a little surprised to see the Red Ribbon Army back, but these guys seem different. The other androids were just made to be killing machines, like look at Cell for example. These two, they at least think they're good guys, and Kami just assumes that they're being purposefully misguided. Gohan then joins him too. He's been busy on his own, but he's ready to fight alongside them just in case. He sensed all the battles going on, and especially after they powered up to their full strength, he realized that he probably would need to help. But even with the Gammas defeated, that's of course not going to be their main opponent here. They're kind of just the appetizer, because back at the Red Ribbon base, Magenta panics and decides to activate Cell Max early. And since he's activated even earlier on than normal, he's probably not even fully complete. Before, it was just his brainwashing wasn't complete, but here, Hedo might still have other work to do. But regardless, he unleashes a rampaging monster that has no control over his own power. Everyone senses this from far away, and Hedo calls the Gammas back to the base, telling them what's going on. So both the Z-Fighters and the Gammas are equally concerned. Looks like they really only have one option now: fight against Cell Max together. They all fly over towards the base, and Cell Max has already been freed. He's destroyed the entire base around him, and he's about to escape outside of it, but they get there just in time to hold him off. And he does kind of look like Cell, but clearly he's a lot different. First of all, the fact that he's giant and his colors are different, but on top of that, he's not some perfect genetic lifeform like Cell, nor is he intelligent like Cell. Far away, on the sacred world of Kai, Tien is there. He had been training with Maris before, but decided to come back here because he does still want some variety in his training. He's gone between here, Beerus's planet, and the time chamber that Maris has. But all the way over here, he could sense really strong powers on Earth. Particularly his friends, but also some new sort of enemy. It's definitely going to be worth it to check out, so quickly, he Kai-Kais over to the planet. Surprised to see that Goku and Vegeta haven't come over here either, but maybe they're busy with something on Beerus's planet. Everyone's glad to see that he's here because maybe they would have been able to defeat Cell Max, but it's definitely going to be really tough. The Gammas did tell them about his weak spot, but hitting that is easier said than done. With Tien here, they're sure to win. Although, they're wondering how he could do it. But Tien might not even need to know that weakness. This should be fine. Plus, it's another opportunity to test out his power in a relatively safe fight. They think it's kind of crazy that he's calling this a safe fight, but if Tien's confident that Cell Max is weaker than him, it's probably the case here. He tells everyone to stand back. His ki explodes. There's a massive intense aura that forms around him. This is him using Ultra Instinct right now. As he goes into Ultra Instinct, the aura starts morphing into something else. He's also using Ultimate to draw out all its potential at once, which includes growing the extra arms on his back. But the massive ki around him takes on a new shape. Slowly it morphs into a human-like figure. It's as big as Cell Max himself, and it looks like a giant construct of Tien. The only difference is, it has a bunch of extra arms. And Tien floats up into the head of the ki construct, sitting right behind where its third eye is. Anytime he moves, the ki construct makes the same sort of movements. Cell Max attacks, but the attack is easily blocked. The rest of them watch on amazed because this is a new form from him. They haven't seen this before. Krillin thinks it's especially awesome. He feels like he saw this before, like he's witnessed some sort of fight where some old dude was using a giant golden construct to fight a guy that looked like Cell, but he can't really remember what he's thinking of here. Maybe it's just a case of deja vu. This is what Tien calls his Thousand Witches form. It's only natural he calls it this. He has 4 witches, which is him with 4 arms, and now this is him with a bunch of arms. Not actually 1,000, but he thinks it's kind of cool, and it reminds him of the same thing that Krillin's thinking of. He just can't quite put his finger on it. Anyways, Cell Max is way too weak to fight him right now. Tien kind of just takes this for a test run because this is a perfect opponent. He could actually change the size of the key construct to whatever he wants, so if he wants to remain his normal size, he could just grow a bunch of extra arms made out of key and direct them with Ultra Instinct. But he could also change his size too, so this is one of the rare chances he gets to fight a giant opponent, which makes it a lot more fun. Plus, his ki doesn't always have to remain attached to him. The ki construct can shoot its own ki blast, or even launch parts of itself off. Not to mention, he can also clone himself, which does include the ki construct. And technically right now he's still holding back because he's not using Merge Tien, or Evolved Kaioken for that matter. Those handicaps at least give him some sort of a challenge here. But it's not really too extreme. Quickly, he's able to dispatch Cell Max and defeat him with very little struggle. He actually hasn't been back on Earth for a while, and he feels kind of bad about it because Kami did make him Guardian after all, but he just keeps leaving the planet. Kami said it's fine, but still, he kind of feels bad. And he's about to catch up with everyone, but then he hears someone talking in his head. It's Goku. Telepathically all the way from Beerus' planet, they're talking to Tien. They sense the battle going on, and they want to see what Tien's new power's like because they haven't seen him in a while. He tells everyone he'll be back here soon, but for now he's just going to go to Beerus' planet and appease them. It should be relatively quick. So once more, he Kai-Kai's away, this time going to Beerus' planet. Everyone there is just left a little speechless, especially the Gammas, because they just watched him pop in, defeat that monster with ease, and then abruptly leave like it was nothing. Goku and Vegeta only sensed the fight, so they didn't actually get to see what Tien was using there. So they ask him to demonstrate it a bit. That's fine. He goes into his Thousand Witches form once more, showing them what he's learned. This is the culmination of all his training combined. Plus, Tien does have the complete version of Ultra Instinct right now, which isn't really too crazy for them to see because Goku's completed Ultra Instinct, and while Vegeta hasn't completed Ultra Instinct, he has been working on something else, and he's gotten really far along with it since he started on it earlier on. He has Ultra Ego now, thankfully getting a jump start on that. And he's a little confident here because right now he's actually ahead of Goku. Goku's not too far behind, but he tells Vegeta he'll catch up pretty soon. The real question is, how close will they come to Tien? Tien says there's only one way to find out. Fighting Cell Max was pretty fun, but he wonders what it'll be like fighting these two. Goku and Vegeta go into their Ultra forms, while Tien just goes into normal Ultra Instinct, not using Thousand Witches just yet. Beerus is a bit annoyed to see how fight crazy they are, but he actually does want to see the demonstration of this power. Tien is supposed to be his rival after all, and he wonders how close Tien is to his level. This is the only way they're going to find out, besides him actually fighting Tien, which he'll probably do at some point. Tien takes on both Goku and Vegeta at once, and just with Ultra Instinct alone, he's able to keep up. But once he uses Ultimate on top of it and draws out his full potential, using all of his power at once, he's actually able to defeat the two of them together. But they're not done yet. They want to push Tien and give him a challenge. They want him to fight with that new form. Maybe they'll have to fuse to do that. Goku gets ready for the fusion dance, while Vegeta reluctantly gets ready. But Tien says to wait a moment. If they're going to fuse, he wants to try something else. He teleports away, going to the Sacred World of Kai's quickly. About a minute later, he comes back. This time he's holding 2 earrings. Elder Kai lent him these. He's learned that these are called Patara earrings, and apparently, 2 people can fuse together with them. Now, Elder Kai used to think that if 2 mortals used this, they would be fused forever. But during the Tournament of Power, they did actually get to see this with Kefla, even though she wasn't really too impressive of an opponent compared to them. But it tells them that Patara fusion isn't actually permanent, because it made Elder Kai look more into it and figure out mortals can use this like the fusion dance. Plus, he wonders if this method of fusion is any stronger. The 2 of them put on their earrings and fuse together. This creates a brand new warrior. He looks a little different from Gogeta, but he has similar features. So, since he looks different, he's going to give himself a different name. This is Vegito. He wonders how long this fusion is going to last because he knows Gogeta has a time limit. They don't know it can be drained even further if they use too much power. Not that it matters though. These warriors are so quick that they only really need a few minutes to battle. Vegito gets some practice by cycling through his forms. First going Super Saiyan, then Super Saiyan God, then Blue, and finally, Ultra Instinct. He could also use Ultra Ego here, but he's going to try this out first. He wonders if he could use both together, but if that even is possible, that's definitely not something he could do on a whim. Maybe he could swap between them though. Vegito fights Tien, and with Ultra Instinct, Tien can't keep up right now even with his great power. Although, that's just with Ultimate and Ultra Instinct. He could close the gap by fusing himself and using Merge Tien, but instead, he tries to quickly activate Kaioken, using Evolved Kaioken at the same time as the 2 other forms. They ask him to use that Thousand Witches thing again, and he says it's not really a power-up. It doesn't necessarily make him stronger, it's just a state where he focuses a lot and controls his ki to the point where he can make ki constructs of himself. But he does that anyways, using that technique alongside Evolved Kaioken, Ultimate, and Ultra Instinct, stacking a bunch of things together. They can't believe how versatile his moveset is. And with the 2 of them merged together, they think that maybe they should be ahead of him. And Vegito still is ahead of him in this fight even when he uses Evolved Kaioken. But the thing that worries Vegito is that it's not by a significant margin. Tien can keep up and can actually injure Vegito. he's not stronger right now, but the fact that he's doing this alone is pretty insane. So why not go all out? He decides to use Merge Tien, just for fun. Now he's holding absolutely nothing back, and this becomes overkill. There's no doubt Vegito's a strong warrior, but with Merge Tien using all of his power, he's able to end the battle pretty quickly, with Vegito defusing shortly after. Both Beerus and Whis watch on really impressed because first of all, they got to see a display of Vegito's power, which is new. But more importantly, it makes Beerus really glad about the rivals he chose. Tien's supposed to be his main rival, but the two Saiyans, they're also really strong. He's surprised to see mortals that powerful, and if Tien didn't exist here, he'd be perfectly happy with them as rivals. Not to mention he's really happy about Vegeta, who's using the power of destruction. The three of them all have Ultra Instinct, and Vegeta's a really good student directly under Beerus. Whis, of course, is really happy. These three are all his students. Either way though, they've all made it pretty far. For Goku, it's kinda interesting to look back at how far they made it. When he first met Tien, he wasn't sure if he could ever reach that level, and he did reach that level, but Tien kept growing beyond that too, so Goku had to keep pushing himself. Just as Beerus found a rival in Tien, Goku did too. Goku's been motivated his whole life as a fighter, and it's not just Tien that pushed him, but he was a really big motivator, and he still is to this day. And sure, part of his power is due to genetics. Him being a hybrid Earthling does this. But just as important is how he uses it, and how dedicated he is to his craft. It's the best of both worlds. Great genetics as a fighter, combined with great skill and hard work. He truly is the ultimate warrior and the strongest mortal by far. The craziest part to Beerus is that he knows Tien's not even close to being done with growing. Although, it'll be interesting to see what happens as he ages because, from what Beerus knows, Earthlings don't really live that long. And he's already considered middle-aged, especially with that time chamber training. And Tien's not too worried. He feels he'll be in his prime for a while, and if that does become an issue, he'll deal with that once it happens. They can keep growing stronger together. And with that, this is where we end our story. What did you guys think about this scenario as a whole? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Anyways, thank you all for watching, thanks for supporting the scenario all the way through, and I'll see you all in my next video.